Hey, Will, can you tell us what you see in Brock, a guy who, maybe didn't pass the eye test from some people, but clearly the 49ers players love him, and he's been playing well. But when you watch Brock, what are your thoughts on him?
The biggest thing that stands out to me about Brock is his maturity. That's the biggest thing for me, and it goes back to him playing all 4 years at Iowa State. I think he won the things the Ed Doherty Award, which is the Heisman for Arizona high school football. He's the best player in the whole state when he was in high school, and so it just shows that he is just consistent in terms of his maturity. So for him to be in that position, here was the cool thing when Brock Purdy took over last year. The biggest thing that I saw was that the all pros on the team stepped up. They were like, okay, we got a new quarterback. We need to raise our shit. We need to let's go. And George Kittle was the first one to be vocal about it. Like, we need to go. We need to be at our best so this guy can be at his best. And because that happened, because they already have a culture. Here's what's hard. The hardest thing with the team is when you're a head coach, you have to manage egos, not just in the football field, the players, but other coaches, scouts, everyone else, executives. There's tons of egos in that building. So how do you create a culture where no matter who, no matter what, we're still playing because we all believe in the same message that's in the building? It starts up top. It starts with the president. It starts with the GM. It starts with the head coach to create that culture. Because if you look at 49ers, it's all a bunch of bad dudes that aren't afraid to punch you in the mouth. You know what I'm saying? And if anything goes wrong in that organization in terms of culture-wise, that place is going to fall apart. But it's not, because they have a good system, so that when Brock Purdy took over to be the quarterback, everybody truly rallied around him. And I think that gave Brock much more confidence to play like he is now, because he's like, all right, now the playbook's open. Now the playbook's open. Now I can do all these things and play well. And I say that because I think I've been on I think I had one losing season in my career in the NFL. When I was in Jacksonville, we finished 4-12. But when I was in Green Bay, we won. We had a good coach. We had a lot of playmakers there. When I was in New York, we couldn't get out of meetings because guys were arguing so much. But we had such a culture where if you got in a line, you probably got your ass beat on that Giants team, straight up. You would get knocked out straight up. So fall in line. Coach Coughlin had a thing where he had what do you call it? He had a leadership committee where he would meet with every week, and they would tell him he want to know y'all good, what's going on in the building, blah blah blah, And he's like, "Nah, we're good," because a lot of things didn't get to Coughlin because we handled it in the locker room. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's how San Fran has their culture, which allows Brock Purdy to be there and be confident. It's a hell of a situation to be in. I don't understand why, people want him to I don't know, go through something, whatever it is. It's man, he's playing his tail off. He's right, like I said, rightfully so in the MVP. And the biggest thing going back is his maturity. How can I still be in a situation? And first of all, it's a stressful situation to think about it, to be Brock Purdy, and this team is Super Bowl ready. And you're like, I can't fuck it up for these dudes, man. That's hard. That is
Right.
tough. He's close with his parents, he's close there. And that's a big deal too, is that he's close with them. Because I look at our son, everyone's like, oh, your son, talking about my son, our son Ryder, is he's such a good kid, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, he's with us every day. He hangs out with us. We try to teach him good things and good value. And anytime he goes somewhere, man, he's such an ultimate pro, his maturity. So, yeah, that's the thing I see about Brock. That's what's really impressive. That's why I said it was cool to see, all right, he's making these, whatever, simple throws, inside the numbers, inside the hash, the easy throws he could see. But how he's timing them, how he's locating them, where he's throwing it. And now he's throwing the deep out routes, the deep comeback routes. He's pushing the ball on the outside, which is huge. And now also the receivers are okay, I can run whatever now. Or even Kyle saying I can call whatever, run wherever, because I got a guy who can get these guys the football. He doesn't. I feel like Kyle doesn't have to dumb it down. You know, with game managers, I feel like you have to dumb down the offense so that they don't mess it up. Brock Purdy is actually making plays. You know, so that's my whole thing.